Well, this one is probably my favourite, my personal favourite, right? And it's talking about customer satisfaction. It's absolute AS, Scandinavian Airline System. Okay, I think that they're no longer, sorry? They went bust, yes. And you know why they went bust? Because they lost their customer focus. Here's what they did under one of their CEOs about 20 odd years ago. He said customer focus is everything, we are customer driven, and that means that we always take off on time, no exceptions. No exceptions. We always take off because they knew the customers wanted reliable, timely service. Always on time. And he drilled it into all of his employees. So, they had this this young lady, and she was only about 23. She was at the Copenhagen counter, and we always send our jets away on time. Always. Except they had this one problem. And I want you to solve this problem. She had 90 seconds to solve this problem, literally. She gets a phone call from a businessman who personally knew the CEO. And he rings in and he says, look, I've got a few problems, my connections haven't gone well, and I'll be a little bit late for the flight. Now, I don't think he quite said these words, but what he meant was, could you hold the flight? SAS never is late. Could you hold the flight? So she's there and she, you know, and they're boarding, and he's going to be late. Could you hold? Now they could invent anything. Oh, you know, technical problems. You just answer used to do it all the time. Okay. She had this problem. What do I do? Very powerful businessman, personal friend of the CEO, top customer, must look after him. All those other customers boarding this flight knowing that SAS are never late. What would you do? Got 90 seconds. Tick, 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 tick. What would you do?
Just say sorry, we can't delay the flight.
Sorry, sir. SAS policy is we can't delay the flight. Buzz off, buddy.
No, just say sorry because we're leaving 15 minutes.
Buzz off, buddy, with nice ice cream on top. Pretty pleased, yeah? Okay, what else could you do? It's now about 45 seconds left. She solved this problem beautifully.
Put another flight.
Sorry?
Put another flight.
Yeah, the trouble was the next flight was 45 minutes away. So he's going to be late and he's not happy. 30 seconds to go. You know what she did? This is a true story. I'm not making this up. And I would not have done. I wouldn't have thought of it. I would have got the policy book out. Oh, we don't, policy. We don't never late.
She boards the plane for me.
She bought the plane.
She boards the plane for his behalf.
Yeah, the trouble is all the other customers are saying, I thought you were on time and we're 10 minutes late, and what's going on here? You know what she did? She let the plane go. He wasn't on the plane. And when he came, she personally escorted him to the Lufthansa flight that was about to take off. But it was another airline.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
So you meant that?
Yeah.
She took responsibility, even if it meant paying at SAS's expenses to put it on a competitive. And here he is, he's boarding the thing, and he says, "Oh, I didn't know SAS owned Lufthansa." And away it went. And where do you think he's going to get his next flight? Lufthansa? SAS, he's going to ring it and say, "Oh, thank you very much." See the point? She took responsibility. And responsibility comes from two words: A response, you give a response and you've got the ability to do that. Now, she had the ability to do that because SAS said, hey, you did the right thing. She wasn't beaten up in the background and told, what do you think you're doing? We lost money. None of that. How often do we beat up on people who are trying to serve the customer and push everything down there and turn it into victimhood? Very, very important thing. Okay. Bad traffic. In fact, this morning's probably a good example. If you're late, every day. Sydney traffic, bad traffic. And you come, and apologies for those who are late, you know, you've probably got your own reasons. You say, oh look, I'm sorry I'm late, it was bad traffic. What are you doing when you're saying it's bad traffic? You're blaming the great outdoors, aren't you? You're basically saying, well, it's not me. I'm not taking responsibility for the situation. Well, it's traffic, which is the great unknown.
Just get up earlier and give yourself more time.
Nice one. Nice one. The real reason is I left late given the traffic, and the answer of a responsible person is I'll leave early. Hey? That's the difference between above the line and below the line. You're helpless down here. See bad traffic? You're helpless. It's a hopeless. Is tomorrow going to have better? Is magically tomorrow in Sydney going to have great traffic? It's going to be the same, maybe a bit better, but it's pretty hopeless traffic, isn't it? So we're really just fobbing off responsibility down there. In fact, I'll tell you another story. This is beautiful. I love this story. About a guy who was asked, have you ever heard of Martin Seligman? No one ever heard of Martin Seligman? You ever heard of Matt Bondi, the American swimmer? And again, I think it's, which Olympics? I can't remember myself. Sorry? Yeah, okay. Here's what, now this is a dirty trick. This is real dirty. And you wouldn't be able to get away with it today. He played a dirty game on the American swimming team for the Olympic Games. He was a psychologist and wrote a book called Learned Helplessness. And his basic argument is, we live in a situation culturally where we learn to be down here. We learn to be helpless. And he gave examples. And in fact, we could probably get these examples. You get these young engineers, they come out of university, gung-ho, everything's great. They want to take over the world, build bridges, build roads, the whole thing. And within 6 years, they find that they're sitting in their little dilbert cubicles, you know, just beavering away, doing mindless stuff, and not being the least bit creative like they used to be. They have learned that it's all too hard. The organisations like swimming through golden syrup, so they just learn to live down here and make the most of it. You're in a rut, but you carpet it. Okay. Anyway, Martin Seligman did this dirty trick. He got the whole American swimming team, and he said, okay, I want to see how you go. And they were meant to swim their hearts out. And he had a stopwatch or whatever it is. He slowed the watch. So these guys are busting their guts out, swim, and he said, and it was just, you know, like a second or a second and a half. You can't have it 5 seconds because that's obviously too slow. 5 seconds is eternity with those guys. And they got up and they looked up and they went, oh, I can't believe it, I busted my gut and the time is too long. And he said to them, look, it's okay, just go sit over there for 20 minutes and we'll have another go at it. And some of them would sit over it and rock in the chair and cry. And get them back into the pool and says, look, it's okay, we'll have another go. Bang, off they go. And he had the real clock then, and they were even slower than before. They had learned to live down here, except for one guy, Matt Bondi. And Matt Bondi had this happen to him. And he was just devastated. He was pretty hot. And he looked up at the clock. I said, can't believe it. I sweated for this. I couldn't even make I couldn't qualify for the final 8 at this lousy time. And he was pretty, and it's okay, sit over there and for 20 minutes we'll have another crack at it. 20 minutes later he gets on the blocks, breaks the world time. New world record. He didn't sit down there. He said, oh, George, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to get there. Comes the Olympics. Here's the real test. Comes the Olympics. So they're all there. And they said, okay, Mr. Seligman, Dr. Seligman, who do you reckon's going to take out all the gold here? You watch Bondi. Bondi? You reckon Bondi's the one? You watch Matt Bondi. Matt Bondi gets his first race. Bronze. Now I don't want to be rude to Olympic Games people, but bronze is sort of, you know, you kick it along the road. The bronze, you know, how many of us remember he came fourth in the Olympics? Yeah, no one. And then they said to Seligman, so Seligman, you reckon Bondi was the star? You got bronze. Are you still holding to that? Yep. You watch him.
I think bronze is still pretty good.
I reckon just getting there would be pretty good for me. 6 gold medals later. See the mindset? Barbara mentioned the whole question of your paradigm, how you tick. Bondi said, no way, Jose, I'm out of here. And he just busted his gut to get up there. So it's all about power, choices, taking responsibility. It's all about those things. It's all about denying being a victim, being hopeless and helpless. Hold on, we'll go back. Okay, so this is the key thing. Now, what I want you to think about is this. In any relationship, we've got to learn to catch ourselves from being a victim. I want you to push yourself above the line, and there are a couple of key things in doing that. Here's one of the ways of catching yourself out from being a victim. A victim is all about blame, excuses and denial. There, they stay in bed all day, you know. Too cold, I won't get out of bed. Blame, excuses and denial. Now catch yourself out when you find yourself getting into that whiny, blamey sort of approach. Here's some key words to show you whether in a relationship, whether you're using victimhood or victimhood. You ever been in a conversation where somebody says, you always do such and such, and they're being nasty? Or you always do this? Well, is that true? Do people always mess up? See, people often throw blame and guilt by using these very loaded terms. That's the language of victimhood. And the other one, what's the opposite of always?
Never.
You never do this, you never do this. It's that whiny voice, okay? What you do is always and never get them out of your hobby. In fact, I'll tell you what we did. My teenage son, we did all this stuff at home, you know, above the line and all that sort of stuff. And we said to him, okay, we're going to ban in this household the term yeah but. What does yeah but mean? Does anyone know what yeah but means?
It's like, yeah, I agree with you, but there's something wrong with what you're saying.
You know what yeah but really means?
No.
No! That's right. Yeah, but means, I haven't really been listening, I don't care what you've got to say. No. So we banned it. We said we will not use in our household, yeah, but. So guess what he did? Yes, however. See how we suck ourselves back down here? See how it's part. Now, look, I'm not asking you to change, you know, we're all part of this. But see how we're always doing bad traffic as a way. Sometimes it's best to be like Nordstrom. Now, that's an extreme example, Nordstrom. I'm sorry, sir, we will repay you for the tyres, in brackets, that we don't even sell. Now, isn't that a beautiful way of becoming stratospherically above the line? And that's our image.